Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of the Real Ballz podcast. I am your host, Ryan Squires, and I got a great show for you today on Friday, October 5th. We're going to be covering all coaching, good and bad. The good side, the bad side, and everything that goes along with coaching. So it's going to be a great show, got a lot to cover, but I want to start off by doing some congratulations and some bowling news like always. First off, I want to start off by congratulating Liz Johnson on winning the Sam Ho Cup, the 20th Sam Ho Cup. She had an awesome final match. If you didn't get to watch it, you should check it out on YouTube because it's great. She finished 290 to 208 in the final match to win. There is no doubt she's the GOAT. I mean, she is absolutely phenomenal. She can win on every level. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to Danielle McEwen, who finished third in that event. Want to get into something that I saw. It's funny because people are saying, it's the Belmo rule, but it's actually not. It's the Japanese rule. But the Japanese Professional Bowlers Association, the J.P.B.A., just announced that they are outlawing wrist braces on tour starting January 1st, 2019. Which, if you think about it, it's really not a huge deal because most players don't use them. Most have developed enough strength in their wrists to be able to do that. Now, it will affect the PWBA in a pretty significant way because there's a lot of PWBA players who still use wrist braces. So it's going to be a big adjustment for them. Even, I think Liz Johnson even has used them. So, when you look at Shannon O'Keefe and people like that, if that was a rule that was implemented in the PWBA, it would be a lot bigger deal. But as far as the JPBA, we'll see how that goes. But it's pretty cool to see some progression in there. It's been a lot of talk for years about how wrist braces affect the game. So it's exciting to see that. But I also wanted to cover, I saw this on a Bowler's Mark tweet, and I wanted to cover this. And it basically said, the owner of a Florence bowling alley was killed after getting caught in a pin setter. Now, I have attested for years that pin setters are extremely dangerous, and people don't know how dangerous they really are. Unless you've worked on them, you've been up there, there are things that you do on a pin setter that if you get caught or something happens, you'll be crushed. It's like when you see kids run down the lane and they get past the sensors, it gets very dangerous. And this just is a story that shows how dangerous it can be to be working on pin setters. So, unfortunately, for this bowling center proprietor, that happened, and our thoughts go out to his family. But yeah, that's terrible. I mean, like I said, it's stuff that happens, regularly. People get hurt on pin setters all the time. So I just wanted to share that so people know how dangerous pin setters can be. But what's up, Eric? How you doing? It's good. I'm glad you're here. What's up, AB? Glad you came in too. But I want to cover some coaching today. And there's good and bad that goes with coaching. A lot of good and bad, actually. But I'm going to start off with the different levels that are currently available in coaching. So, level 1 is basically a fundamental course. It covers roles and responsibilities of a coach, progression of skills, sport safety, maintaining a positive teaching approach, adding fun to your youth program, and an overview program and opportunities. So, it's just basically an entry-level position of a coach. It can be attained by doing an online course, and it isn't something that is necessarily going to make you a great coach. It's just a starting point. It's open to anyone over 13 years old. The fee's $49, and it covers the fundamentals and entry level. But, I'll get into it later, but level 1 can actually cause some problems. But the bronze coaching is a little more in depth. It's recommended for high school coaches, intermediate level training. It's $295 to become a bronze level coach. Got to be 16 years old and you got to go to a conference. But it covers philosophy of coaching, fine-tuning of physical game, lane conditions and adjustments, mental game, components of the bowling ball, dynamics of ball motion, video recording, video analysis, and giving a lesson. So it's a little more in depth on the teaching side when it comes to bronze. So, if you're looking to be a coach, I would at least have a bronze because level 1, like I said, is just entry level. Bronze is actually going to get into more in-depth stuff. Now, when you get your bronze, you can go for your silver. The silver requires a 3-day conference. It's an advanced level course. You got to be 18 years old to take it. You have to have a minimum of 1 year coaching experience, and the fee is $465. But when you do your silver level coaching, you cover more finite adjustments to physical game, building a bowling ball arsenal, advanced lane adjustments, matching ball surfaces to lane conditions, advanced mental game concepts, video analysis, and establishing a practice plan to develop and expand the bowler's options. So when I look at coaching and I look into it and I say, what is it that I would be, or what I would expect out of a coach? I would expect at a minimum a silver level. And I say that because when I read through this and what they cover, silver level is almost required, because the biggest part about doing a great job when coaching is making sure that the bowlers are using the right equipment at the right time. And it doesn't get into building a bowling ball arsenal and all that until you get to the silver level. So like I said, I would at least want my coaches to have a silver level. That way they could, bring a new perspective. But, level 1, bronze, it takes time to get to silver, so I understand, but I still think it should be a requirement. When you get to gold, gold is described by the USBC as the equivalent to a PhD in coaching. You have to go in front of a review board. You have to go through and know the manual that they give you, the guidebook, but it's done over time through a committee. The fee to become a gold coach is $800. But like I said, gold coaches are pretty rare. There's not a ton of them. But there's a lot of silver coaches, and I would think that most of them, the bronze coaches and whatnot, would want to become silver level coaches. Now, one of the things that I see as something that can really help the game is basically making these coaches continue to develop, making sure that they continue to develop and continue to go level by level. If you're level 1, they should have a requirement that makes you go for bronze before a certain date. That way, these coaches are continuing to develop, because one of the biggest issues I see is that a lot of times coaches kind of get in the way. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. But, the coaches that help bowlers, they do it in multiple ways. What's up, Adam? How you doing? They do it in multiple ways. What they do is they help develop the youth bowlers, which is the bowlers of the future. So that's always a good thing. I really appreciate when coaches can bring a new perspective and keep kids engaged. So that's great. But they also have recruitment of bowlers. They bring more bowlers in. They go out and they have a passion for the game. They didn't become a coach because they didn't enjoy bowling. They enjoy the game. They enjoy learning about it and helping their kids. It's just like a kid's baseball coach. They may not be the best coach, but at least they're trying. They're out there making an effort. They help simplify the game to people who don't understand it. They may understand more, but they help simplify the game to make it so that people who don't understand can develop and understand the game of bowling. They advise bowlers on how to get better. Basics of coaching is learning and teaching. They increase retention through continued development. So nobody wants to keep doing something if you suck at it. If you're a terrible bowler and you suck at bowling, you're not going to keep doing it. You're going to get pissed off and quit. And that's something that I think really matters, because a lot of times when people aren't good, they get treated like shit when they're bowling, or they don't want to bowl because they're not getting any better. Coaches help increase the retention through the continued development, so they play a crucial role in making the sport a better sport. Now, the bad about the coaches. So here's where I'm going to get into some stuff that coaches don't like, but these are a lot of times my personal experiences and things that I've seen over the years. But not all coaches are good. And that's one of the biggest issues I ran into is some of them are level 1 coaches and their head goes, pfft, it just explodes. It makes them think that they are just awesome because they got this certification. It was a level 1 or a bronze. Some of them just aren't that good and they give bad advice. And if you're a pro shop operator, you've probably dealt with this numerous times where someone comes in to your pro shop and they've gotten advice from a coach, someone they look up to, and you got to be the person who, tells them that they were wrong. But at the same time, you don't want to run down their coach, but you're thinking, God, this guy's an idiot. How the hell is he a coach? They can bring some bad advice if they're not good. A lot of them think that they have knowledge of the game and they think that they are well informed, but they lack knowledge. And that's something that is it may not even be their fault, but at the same time, if it is, you get coaches who give such bad advice and have lack of knowledge and they think they're right. And then you got a back and forth on your hands when you know that you're right and you know that what you're doing is correct. But they can also do things that get in the way. And when I say they get in the way, they can get in the way of, your bowling ball sales. They can get in the way of maintenance and things of that nature because they'll say, oh, I've got this old ball or whatever it is and you can have it and all you got to do is plug the thumb or whatever. And so they get in the way in the sense that they don't necessarily know what needs done. And instead of deferring to a pro shop operator who can help them, what they do is they tell them what can be done. And you go in the pro shop and the pro shop operator, if I'm the pro shop operator now, I've got to be the guy who says, you can't do that. We've got to get your access. We've got to plug the ball. We got to do this. But like I said, they can get in the way. I've seen a lot of coaches over the years who are demanding when they're working with a pro shop or a bowling center. And this is a big deal. And it really is. There's an arrogance there. They continue to feel, okay, I'm a coach. I'm helping you. I'm doing you a favor. I'm bringing you business. Well, yes, you are, but at the same time, you have to understand that doesn't entitle you to a discount. That doesn't entitle you to anything. You became a coach because you wanted to help bowlers. If you became a coach because you thought I was going to give you a better discount, that's a shitty reason to become a coach. So, like I said, they become entitled. I've seen coaches who will literally think that their head is swollen so much they'll say things like, well, I'll take my league to another bowling center. I'll take my kids to another pro shop. Not just my kids, but all the kids that I coach. And so you see that and you go, dude, you can't do that just because I tell you you're wrong. Do you want me to not tell you you're wrong and then let you just be the dumbass coach all the time? It's one of those things where coaches can give bad advice and people look up to them. They believe that they're right, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing as long as they are correct. So I think that's why I said I think the big deal is having coaches continue to improve. They need to continue to improve in order to make sure that they're giving good advice. They're helping, because a lot of coaches get to a certain level and they stop. They get to a certain level of bowler, a 150 average bowler, and then they're out of the game because they can't help anymore. Or a 175 average bowler, but they don't even know their limits. They don't know that they can't help anymore. They don't know that they have hit their peak of knowledge. So it's really a bad deal when that happens. So I believe coaches play a vital role, but at the same time, those things right there can be a real bad mark on all coaches. It makes all the coaches look bad. It doesn't help anybody. It drives business away. So it's good to get along with your coaches, but they need to make sure that they know their role, that they are helping, but at the same time, you can't use that power and say, well, I'm helping you so I get this or that. There's no entitlement there. There's no quid pro quo per se. But just know your own limits. That's why that happens. Make sure you don't lack the development. I know that the coaches all have good intentions. It's just misguided actions. That's it. They have good intentions with misguided actions, mainly because they may not know that they're misguided. They may not know that they're wrong. I try to describe it like this. Coaching issues for centers, often youth coaches feel they have power and try to strong-arm center owners. This is currently the proprietor's problem, but if the proprietor is similar to the state level of politics, then the USBC is the federal level. Then it's time the federal level makes all coaches aware of their role to the bowling center. The USBC has created a lot of entitlement to their board members, to coaches, and they all feel that they deserve a discount, or they all feel that they deserve special treatment, when in reality, you're trying to help the game, and you're not helping the game by trying to strong-arm your way into the bowling center or into the pro shop for discounts and whatnot. It just doesn't help. It doesn't help the sport at all. So I strongly encourage everybody to, get a coach. It helps, but at the same time, don't just sit there and let them run all over you if you're a pro shop operator or a bowling center operator, because they are there to help you. Make sure they know what their role is as a coach, that they're there to help you. They're there to make the game better, build the sport. But some of the cool tools, coaching has really awesome tools out there available, and they're expensive, a lot of them, but they are some fantastic development tools that are being used. When I was coming up in bowling, the only thing they used was a video recorder. There was nothing out there. But, what Kegel just released, the Specto, man, you talk about something awesome. Specto allows you to get all your ball motion statistics and everything while hitting a target down lane. It's fantastic. It's everything you could want when you were bowling or bowling and learning bowling. But, man, if you're a coach, what a great tool to have. It would be costly, but what a fantastic tool. Bowler's Map. Bowler's Map's been around forever, but having the ability to do a video breakdown is a big deal. It can help you notice things that you didn't know before, help you develop. Digitrax and CATS has been around for a long time. The lane motion and ball dynamic breakdowns of CATS is fantastic. Being able to basically break down what your shot's going to do and break down how the ball is reacting is fantastic. You get all your statistics. It's a great tool to have. Now, bowler vision tracking, this is something new, and it was on the ITRC website, the Training and Research Center website. And they have bowler vision tracking, and it's bowler's video view. So basically, it's having like glasses on as a bowler, the Google Vision, but, making it so that everybody can learn and you can get the perspective on video of what the bowler sees. That way, if it's from your eyes or whatever it is, they can develop and say, this is the problem. You're looking at the wrong target. You're looking at the wrong area. You're throwing it. When you lay the ball down, you're looking down and you need to look here. And so there's a development in that bowler vision tracking that's just fantastic. Now you partner that technology of Specto, bowler vision tracking, and Blueprint. Those three together create a fantastic development of opportunity. For those of you that don't know what Blueprint is a ball layout and drilling guide. And my buddy Kevin, who owns Pinheads, Kevin Walter, he had a friend in Cincinnati who developed Blueprint. And they licensed it to Ebonite. And when it first came out, I remember we were doing the beta testing for it before it ever was released. And we used it, and I got to tell you, I had never seen anything like it because the layouts that you can come up with on Blueprint are nothing that your mind can contain. You put in your statistics, you put in your stats, and you put the ball in, and it'll factor the core, it'll factor the cover stock, it'll factor the drilling, and it will give you layouts that you never thought in a million years would work. You'd say, God, that would never work. That's a terrible layout. It's just, you can't do that with a bowling ball. But the fact is you can. You can do that with a bowling ball. And when you do it, you think, oh my God, I'm taking this huge risk because this is a $200 bowling ball. And I'm putting holes in it in the place that I would never think to do it. But the fact is once you do it and they go out and bowl, you go, holy shit, it worked. The program is fantastic. If anyone has ever used Blueprint, they can usually attest to it. It's a fantastic program. But having the ability to say, this is the pattern. It's the 2017 Nationals pattern. And this is the ball I want to use with the cover stock. It factors in all of your statistics, your rev rate, your speed, everything that you do. It factors all that in and tells you exactly where the ball is going to be if you go and bowl on that pattern. You say, I want to hit the 10 board. It'll say, oh, you're not going to hit the head pin. And so it's like having a preview of everything that you're going to do in a tournament. And it is such a good tool. And the price on it is very good. If you're a coach and you're interested in bowling ball technology and bowling ball layouts and whatnot, you have got to get yourself some Blueprint software. It is something you will not regret. It does take a little practice to get used to, but I got to tell you, there is nothing out on the market like it. It is absolutely a fantastic program. So if you like to coach, you like bowling ball, dynamics and whatnot, Blueprint, Specto, and Bowler Vision, those three together would create an unstoppable coach. So it's awesome to see. But like I said, this whole episode was just based on coaching. I wanted to make sure that people understood that coaching is ran by the USBC. You got to pass the registered volunteer program. So basically they want to keep these kids safe, which I absolutely am 100% for. Do the background checks, make you have to do all that stuff. No doubt about it. It's very important that you do. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of room to be developed for coaching. I think that the coaches have to be on the same page. And I don't think a lot of coaches are on the same page. I think a lot of them are wanting to be good coaches. They have a passion to be a good coach. The problem is I think that many of them think they are good coaches. They think because they got that little pass that says level 1 or bronze or whatever it is, that suddenly they may know more than you do. You may work in a pro shop and been doing it for 20 years, but they know more than you do because they've got this little badge that says that they're important. The fact is, that badge doesn't mean shit to me if I'm a pro shop operator. So, like I said, what matters to me is that you actually know what you're talking about. Because if you bring people into the pro shop with bad advice, then I'm always going to be the bad guy who corrects you. And I have no problem doing that. I'm trying to not embarrass you. So make sure that you know what you're talking about. And I think that's the biggest deal, is making sure that these coaches continue to develop. Like I said, I think that it'd be very important and very good if the USBC could somehow say, if you attain a bronze certification, you have to attain a silver within 3 years or whatever it is. That way, first of all, the coaches that are not really that interested in coaching, they're just there because their kids are there, they may or may not come back. They learn, and if they really want to develop, they'll take the course. If they don't, just don't let people stay dumb or stay uninformed. Make sure that they continue to develop, and then that way you can say, hey, look at what you've developed and look at how much you've learned over time. Fact is nobody knows everything. These gold coaches are fantastic coaches, but they learn all the time. They have a passion for the game, and that's why they do it. But like I said, having the level 1, okay, great, entry level, fine. But there's got to be a way to get those people to have to get a bronze, or the bronze have to get a silver. And maybe you stop at silver. You say, okay, everybody has to attain a silver medal or silver level in certain amount of time, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. But the fact is that you can't let people just stay comfortable where they're at, because then nobody develops. Then they learn more, but they could be learning the wrong thing. Coaches are not, they're not blocked or uninformed in a way that they can't get bad advice. People give bad advice all the time in bowling. We see it on leagues all the time. Someone says, oh, get this ball or get that ball or get, do this with the line, adjust this or that for you. The fact is that people give bad advice all the time. Coaches are not, immune to that. They still hear that bad advice, and if they think it's coming from someone who's credible, then they may start believing it. Then they start teaching it. And that's something that can be very bad, for development. So like I said, make sure people continue to develop. It's very important that coaches continue to move forward. The fees are the fees, whatever, but if the USBC could step in and say, hey, you have to attain this level in a certain amount of time, it would be much, much better. But like I said, I wanted to cover coaching. I appreciate all you coming in. Congratulations to Liz Johnson again. It's awesome to see her doing well and winning the 20th Samo Cup. Like I said, she's the GOAT, 290 to 208. Danielle McEwen's on a roll, just won recently in Thailand, then turns around and finishes third in the Samo Cup. T.B.B.N making big moves. But like I said, if you're interested in becoming a coach, you can check it out on bowl.com and go through the process. But just don't stop learning. Continue to learn. And if someone gives you advice, don't get contentious with them. Make sure that you understand that maybe they do know what they're talking about, particularly pro shop operators. And also remember, know your role as a coach. You're there to help build and develop bowlers. You're there to bring in more bowlers. You're not there to demand and strong arm. So, be a positive force in your bowling center to make sure that people are continuing to learn and move forward and bringing new bowlers in. But I appreciate everyone coming in today. Make sure to check me out next Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the Real Ballz podcast right here on Facebook. Also, the audio versions on iTunes and on, the other podcast thing. I'll have to put it in the notes. But, I appreciate you all coming in, and I will be back on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Next week, got some awesome shows planned, and I've got some big news. We got a new set coming in. I got some backdrops and whatnot that'll be coming to make this thing look even more professional. But like I said, I appreciate everyone coming in. The numbers have been fantastic. We're growing every episode, so I appreciate all of you, and I will see you next Monday. Have a great weekend, and thanks for checking out the Real Ballz podcast. I'm Ryan Squires. Have a good weekend.